Welcome everybody, Starflag Media Gaming. My name is Anthony. I'm here with my co-host as always.
Hey man, it's your boy Chris, aka Talents A60,
Yeah, we had
aka
quite
New
a week.
Waddlets.
You waddle it. We've had quite a week this week in the world of gaming. We've got and on the channel itself because people are going and drinking big tall glasses of copium after a couple of things. And here's what's really funny. We've had two big things that happened this week, both on Sony side and over on Microsoft side. But on the channel, I haven't gotten to the Sony one yet because it just happened today. But we'll talk about it now. So as we know, Sony was trying to acquire Kadokawa, the makers of From Software, who make the Elden Ring series and the Soul series, but also in Japan they're worth like $1 billion, and they make like all types of animes and they hold all the anime rights.
They get the anime.
Yeah,
That's a good. So, all right, I want to be pro Sony on that because they get the people that make Elden Ring and all of that, but
mm-hmm.
I'm also a fan of like Dragon Ball
Mm-hmm.
and there's other animes that I want to get into, and that would be a problem because Sony already has a monopoly on anime right now.
A huge monopoly on just entertainment as a
Like
whole.
Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
so they would
own Crunchyroll. So
yeah. This would just solidify their marketplace as a whole. Um and with that said, they were trying to acquire them outright. And it turns out Sony doesn't have the money they thought they had. They weren't able to purchase Kadokawa. It fell through. The amount was astronomical, and Sony, they obviously could afford it, but they didn't have that in their spending budget. And so instead, they purchased 10% of the company. So they now own 10% of the stocks, which isn't the same, but it gives them more influence, obviously, over the company. At 10%, it makes them the largest shareholder on their own as a single shareholder. So the fanboys, of course, were screaming, Elden Ring is going to be exclusive to PS5 now. And
no,
it's
it would never.
it's no way in
Even if they
hell.
bought it, even if they bought it and they owned it, I don't think it would.
That's exactly my thought. I was like, even if let's say they own 51% of the company, like Nintendo back in the day with Rare, I think that Elden Ring is multi-platform regardless at this point,
Yeah.
unless Sony bought them 100% outright, and then they can do put the screws to the other consoles, but it'll still be on PC. Either way, it'll be
Yeah, but it was
PS5.
but they own 10% of the parent company.
Yeah,
Like the
Kadokawa. Yeah, the big guy.
yeah, so yeah. So
Yeah, so it's
it's
not From
like
Software, but it's influential. They hold a big piece
yeah,
of the pie now. But even then, 10% is nowhere near as big a pie for them to say, "Hey, it's got to be on PS5 only." Maybe you get a timed exclusive out of it. Maybe you get DLC timed exclusive out of it, something like that, like the way Call of Duty does. When back in the day when it was like PS5 got like the 6 months of DLC first. But
yeah.
anyway, so Sony wasn't as rich as people thought they were. All the fanboys on Reddit were crying because, all the Xbox were, of course, crapping on them and back and forth. Because speaking of Xbox, who had a really rough week in our channel this week?
Oh man.
The Microsoft
I still hear
fanboys.
them. I still hear them crying. I still get notifications when I get a new reply to the YouTube comments, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'll just read them. They're
Yeah.
just sad. They're going
The
out
last one I
bad.
just got called me a PlayStation fanboy, and I replied, "Did you see the video where I said Sony was headed in the same direction?" I got called a Nintendo fanboy on that one, which would
Yeah, these
probably be
guys
more
is just
accurate. They're crying. So for those, while he looks up the comments, for those that don't know, Microsoft CEO went on record, had a speech, and basically said there are no more Xbox exclusives coming out, and that they are redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan. That Xbox fandom will now be across all devices, and that their games are aimed to come out on all devices. So exclusives are going away. Game Pass is their focus, and they are really shying away from being just a console manufacturer as a whole. That doesn't mean that their consoles are going away right away,
Yeah.
but the coping in the comments.
Yo, the coping is crazy. Like one dude said, so I said 2 years from now, say hello to Microsoft Gaming, right?
Absolutely.
And at Egg Enjoyer, I don't know who you are, but you're welcome to, debate
Reply
me
down.
in the
Yeah,
comments if
reply
you
in the
like.
comments.
So he said, meanwhile, they're developing the most hardware they ever have. You think they'd be making such hardware if they weren't releasing hardware, or are you just delayed? So I'm just like, bro,
First of all, the hardware came out how long ago? Was it almost 5 years now?
I think they're on there. They came out 2020,
19?
19. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So it's
5
the
years.
fifth. It's the
Yeah.
fifth year. So yeah, the console cycles are running longer
And
now
they
than
just had
ever.
their first year of games too. On top of that,
Yeah.
don't forget that. And yeah, they had a beautiful roadmap. But I bet
Mm-hmm.
you, remember, we've seen a roadmap, and I was like, yeah, they got a bunch of games that's coming this year, next year. Look like it's gonna be good.
It
And I
does look
said,
good,
nope.
and
I
those
said,
games will
nope.
be good.
I said,
But
yo, yeah, they look good, but you gotta hope that they come on time, like how they say they're doing, because
well, not
they're
even that.
notorious for.
Now if it doesn't matter because they're going to be on everything. They're going to be on everything. Windows Central chief editor said they're that the strategy going forward is no more exclusives. At best, you're going to get timed exclusives, and he said that's at best. And then, unless there's a few outliers, there may be one or two that never get cross consoles, and those are probably going to be games that didn't sell well or something along those lines. So it seems like Microsoft is doing what we've been calling for the last, I don't know, year, and they're slowly
Yeah,
but surely shying away from being a console exclusive manufacturer. They're not going to be making exclusives for their Xboxes anymore, and that's from the mouth of the CEO, the guy who tells
yeah. So
Spence.
no matter what you say in the comments, the CEO of Microsoft said it's going everywhere.
And the love for gaming. If I think about it, right, we chose the secular growth category in entertainment, which we think is gaming, and said, let's double down on it. And it's been a passion for Microsoft ever since. In fact, I think Flight Simulator launched before Windows or Office even. And so it's like one of the longest franchises in this company. And so we said, let's take that joy of gaming everywhere, and that's why even these ads with Xbox Now, where we are redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan, it's about being able to enjoy Xbox on all your devices. So our strategy with Activision content now is in full force. We feel fantastic about the progress we've made, and more importantly, I think on long term, as a company, we can bring the best of AI innovation, cloud innovation, console innovation, PC innovation to build the best games that can be enjoyed by gamers everywhere.
So
Yeah, and you could
with
cry
that
about what Phil
in
Spencer
mind,
said all you
why?
want,
Yeah,
but the guy who runs Phil Spencer is the guy saying it, and that's it. He's the end all be all. He's the guy who calls the shots. Satya Nadella is his name. So yeah, it wasn't a great week for people who were it's bad week for the two extreme sides. So if you're a Sony pony and you thought that From Software and Kadokawa was going to be owned exclusively by Sony, well, your dreams were shattered because reality set in. And for some reason,
I'm
the Xbox kids are worse because even when I put the video on, I mean, I didn't paraphrase it, I didn't quote and take it out of context. I played it in context. I let the guys speak. And even then, they refuse to believe that's the future of Xbox. That it's a
yeah,
brand. That it's a brand now. It's a brand now.
because they're watching these other YouTubers like Colt Eastwood and Destin, and who's just pumping fake news to them, because that's what their channel is. They've been Xbox ride or die,
Yeah.
and now they gotta keep their
Hope
viewers somehow.
they're the
Yeah,
Kamala
they gotta keep
voters.
their viewers.
You remember those Kamala guys? The what is it? The Bros for Kamala or whatever it was.
Yeah, bros for Kamala, and I'm a real
Yeah. Now
man,
how
and I'm not
we're
afraid. But
yeah. Now
yeah,
all their viewers, how are they going to keep them? Well, we got to fight the good fight. We got to keep going. Now we got to
yeah,
fight harder than ever. So it's
yeah.
like, well,
Now they're going PC now. What's the other dude name? Dot Dark. Um,
yeah.
he went
Everybody's
PC,
yeah. So
and
listen, if you're an Xbox fan, you're allowed to be that. Like even when Sega went out of business, and they didn't go out of business, when Sega left the console business and they became just a publisher, the people who are Sega fans stayed Sega fans. You're allowed to like their games, and the same thing is going to apply if you're an Xbox fan. If they exit the console space in the next 10 years and they bring out a streaming box or an Xbox's Game Pass is their future, they're still going to have all the studios that they bought. They're still going to be pumping out games. They're still going to be making the games you like if you're really truly an Xbox fan. So you're not losing the games you like. You're just losing exclusives. You've lost exclusives, and the console war, I hate to break it to you guys, it's been over. It was over since the OG Xbox. You never won a single generation.
then Phil Spencer told y'all it was over, and y'all
Yeah,
still fighting.
he said the console wars are done. It doesn't make sense.
He said we lost.
Yeah,
Verbatim, we lost.
we lost. And
we
and
lost last gen.
absolutely. And it reminds me of another it's true. They didn't win any gens. It reminds me of when they brought out the Zune to compete with the iPod. Now, the Zune was Microsoft's answer to iPod. And believe it or not, it sold really, really well. Really well. In fact, in its last year, it saw like a 30% year over year increase in sales. But Microsoft pulled it out of the market anyway. And the reason was, and this is back in the day, and I'm sure they still have the same mentality, is they don't care about being number two in a market. They don't have a number two mentality. So they don't want to be in second place. And I hate to break it to you guys, but this is third. You guys are in third place this generation. You're behind.
Yeah.
You're behind the Switch by a lot, and you're behind PS5 by a lot, 2-1, almost 3-1 at this point.
I think it's like they make soulless equipment, bro.
Yeah, they buy their competition. Yeah. Yeah, and their Surface is just basically it's basically an iPad. The Surface, which don't get me wrong, the Surface Pro is a great device, but it's basically an iPad. With the next beat that we're gonna hit is Nintendo news.
Wait,
yeah, go on.
Hold on. Before we get there,
yeah.
I feel like this is a good point. Like you got to put that little excerpt of Steve Jobs just shitting on Microsoft. Because he said it the best. He was like, it just seems like they just copy and make a soulless copy, and it's nothing that just resonates to a consumer, to a buyer, to somebody who wants to purchase. And like how he just kind of like broke it down. And then the video I seen when he says that, and he's bringing up like they showing like the gateway computer, they showed like the Zune, the Microsoft phone, and it's like countless examples.
People forgot about that Windows phone. That Windows phone was an epic failure.
Yeah, it's just like, we would make a smartphone.
It was me too. Me too. Yeah. For everybody out there crying about me being a PlayStation or Nintendo fanboy, I've got my Xbox products. I've got my Sony products. I've got everything. Anyway, to continue, we're going to move on to Nintendo news. Nintendo had the worst leak in the history of the company this week. So Nintendo, who's usually the most top secret company, and they don't even let out a game before it comes out, maybe a week before it comes out. Everything about the Switch 2 is out. We know what it looks like. We know its dimensions. We've seen accessories for it. We got the screen sizes. We've got new button layouts. We've got everything except the actual Switch in someone's hands. What do you think?
I mean, I always said that 2024 was the year of the leaks. Damn near every game got leaked. like every like a lot of games got leaked this year, or could have been last year. I might be confusing years. You know, COVID done fucked everything up. It starts to blend. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And who was it that leaked them?
So the first one was a guy on Reddit who said, "I've got my hands on the Switch," and he leaked all the dimensions. But because you could say whatever you want, nobody took that seriously. The following day, D-Brand, the guys that make accessories or cases for like the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck, they put out a 3D scan of the new case that they've got coming out for the Switch 2. The thing about the case is that it's transparent. So they put a mock-up or a render of the actual Switch 2 in the case. And in that mock-up, you can clearly see the full Switch 2. And then when they got asked about it, the CEO said, "Oh yeah, no, that's the 3D render of the Switch 2. Like, that's legitimate." He was like, "I don't care." And then the next day, another person came out, another Chinese manufacturer came out with like the steering wheel add-ons that you can clip the Joy-Cons into. And it had the picture of the actual Joy-Cons in them. So they look, so we know for sure it's the real thing. We've gotten multiple scans, and now a guy actually had a mock-up Switch 2 sent to him weeks ago, and he thought it was bullshit, so he never put it on his YouTube channel. And now when all the scans came out, he put, and I'll put the pictures up in here, and I'm gonna make a video about it. When all the leaks came out, he made his video like, "Look, they sent me this a couple of weeks ago, letting me know like, yo, this is it. This is the real mock-up for third-party accessory makers." And he just had it he had it on his desk for weeks, and he didn't know it. So they had the worst leak ever, and now we know for sure in January after Christmas they're gonna have to announce this thing. They got no choice.
They don't have to, but they will.
Yeah, they got. I mean, unless they're gonna make some drastic change, but at this point the thing's in manufacturing, so yeah. Anyway, so Switch 2 leaks. We're going to move on and wrap this up with Star Flag Media Game of the Year nominees. And I'm going to put these in the comments. And you guys can vote on them at home. If nobody votes, then we will choose a winner for each console at the next podcast. And we're going to start off with the PS5. The PS5 nominees are not the same ones as Video Game Awards. And here are the criteria that I use. You had to have at least an 80 in Metacritic. So you can't be anything below an 80 score in Metacritic. And I tried to have
so that means Starfield just to get in.
I didn't put Starfield in here. But that's interesting that you said that. But I don't have Starfield in as a pick. But I also didn't try to go with I also didn't try to put
Starfield though.
It's a good game. But that's all it is. Game of the Year it is not. So also try not to have any like third-party overlap. So if a game came out on all three systems, I only picked it for like one console. That way, yeah. All right. So the first nominee for PS5 was Metaphor ReFantagio, Tekken 8, Indiana. Oh, this is Xbox. Persona 3 Reload, and Astrobot. Those are the four for PlayStation, and you can give your choices next week. You can choose your personal favorite and let the people, vote at home. For Xbox, we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Black Myth Wukong, and Castlevania Dominus, which is a compilation. For the Switch, we have The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Unicorn Overlord, and I messed up the order there. But anyways, those are the three for the Switch. Oh, and Balatro. So give your choices. They'll be in the community section of the website. You can go ahead and choose. I'll put all of them in there, and then we'll go and choose for your game of the year. We'll do it by overall. Who has the most votes will get the overall game of the year, and then each one will get like for the individual console released. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, man. Let's get these comments going. Let's get these comments going. So, for those of you in the comments who calls me a fanboy, I'm just gonna say I'm not a fanboy. But if I was a fanboy, my team would be winning so hard because because the fact that the head of Xbox Gaming said we lost the console war and it's over, and then the CEO of your guy, who was the savior of Xbox,
is now saying we're redefining what Xbox fans is.
Yes. Yeah. So they're telling you to your face that they're telling you
we're
to your
changing.
face, we don't care. We're
changing.
What the court, and they're going.
We're doing what's right with business. We're going what's right for business.
Yeah, and that's what you get for loving a corporation.
Absolutely,
idiot.
Any corporation.
Yeah.
Well, guys, leave a comment below. Let us know what you guys think. Thank you guys for joining us as always here at Star Flag Media Gaming, and we'll catch you guys next time.